And what you had to prove during that conversation is your level of reuse. If you didn't have a certain percent of reuse, there's something wrong, you had to go back and redesign. So you have to have a point in time during your implementation lifecycle where you stop and validate, okay, you guys are designing this, are you designing leverage what we built before, are you not? If you're building new, why are you building new? Is there truly something that's unique about this implementation that requires it to be developed separately or differently than what we've been developing in the past?
Yeah, because BPM is more related to a program management rather than project management. And when you're actually rolling out more programs, so the overall cost and time that is required to do the other processes should actually come down.
Okay, excellent. All right, the last phase, so benefits tracking realization. So now we've gone through either a single implementation or multiple implementations, and now we're trying to identify, okay, we're done. Now, did we get what we expected? Did the systems go away? Did the people go away or get moved around, different perspectives? Did we actually achieve the ROI expected? And please give your experience.
I think one of the biggest pitfalls is actually not going backwards. So I brought up the point about ROI. Because if you don't follow up on something from a management perspective, you may think you have achieved something, but if you don't have the correct follow-through, you could end up with a completely different outcome than anticipated, and perhaps not even from an improvement point of view, you may have degraded something. So follow-through is key.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I think without the appropriate follow-through, the capacity or the scale that you're creating can easily bleed out into other areas. And if you're not capturing that and making sure that you do have that transparency into the process, other items, other places will essentially eat away at that capacity, and the organization won't get the benefit.
I do agree.
Okay, excellent. So I get the 10-minute mark, so let's move on to our final slide and we ask some questions. So we had some key takeaways. So first of all, senior management. Engaging senior management, we identified this up front. Considering BPM is an organization change. Not the tool, but the methodology of BPM requires organizational change to be more efficient before applying technology. So there's going to be natural friction when you're applying that change. So engage your senior management to provide oversight and ensure that there is a single view and there's a single path. Will help sort of reduce that level of friction. Secondly, and we've mentioned this a number of times, ROI. So I've seen many situations where you do an ROI, you do an implementation, and then everyone forgets about the ROI. Well, make sure you keep track of the ROI, okay? And make sure that you're tracking that value measurement of reuse over time. Business architecture, again, before applying technology, you have to consider organizational change. How can we optimize multiple entries in an organization and make them into fewer entries? And how can we standardize our business processes and policies so they're consistent, again, reducing some of the bottlenecks, reducing some of the uniqueness of the organization, make it common. Prioritization, well, let's start with the highest value opportunities first. There are situations where you're going to have opportunities that have very low ROI, or they're going to have a negative ROI. Well, don't worry about those. Once you've built the framework and you've done some work over time, those will improve. And you'll be able to implement them at a lower cost and actually have a positive ROI. Continuous improvement, this has been mentioned over and over again. Let's not do waterfall. Let's not do a big bang. Let's consider reasonable chunks over time and making improvement. It's been stated a number of times, BPM is a discipline. It's not an implementation. It's not a one-time event. It's a continuous process. COE, so Center of Excellence. Again, the panel have talked about this. You want to bring a competency together. So if BPM is new to your organization, you don't want to scatter it throughout the organization. You don't want everyone developing. You need to bring those key resources together, build that knowledge, and then slowly what you can do is you can distribute that knowledge and you can allow individual organizations to develop and mature. Sourcing. So again, we're thinking about how do we